All right, a pleasant good morning to you from Las Vegas. This is Ramon Scott, and welcome to Night Moves here for Friday, February 27th. Got a nice short betting card here as we head into a sports betting weekend here with UFC coverage this weekend. We've got more NASCAR, the golf's underway here this week as well. IndyCar gets going here as well. We got some games to look at here on Friday, including just a handful in the NBA and NHL tonight. Also, took a look at 5 games or so in college basketball and a couple of games that we'll be looking, of course, at Miami of Ohio here today, and Akron, and how that's going to shape up in the MAC. But also can't help but think about the crazy race there in the Sun Belt Conference here. Who's going to win that? There's one game left in the Sun Belt regular season tomorrow. 4 teams are 11-6. 3 teams are 10-7. You tell me who's going to come out on top in the Sun Belt. We'll pick a few of the games here on Night Moves. Thank you for joining me here on the show. We had some good winners here last night on the show. Talked about the Tankathon, right? And I think that's where we stand. I mean, that's what kind of was the whole deal there with last night's show, talking about teams in the Tankathon, just trying to kind of avoid those teams really, and maybe roll with the teams that were playing, the teams who were in the Tankathon, and that seemed to continue there on Thursday night in college basketball for sure. But over the NBA, in the NBA, of course, the Charlotte Hornets over Indiana, they pasted the Pacers there yesterday for a convincing victory. I think, did all the Tankathon teams go down to defeat? Hornets won it 133-109 to easily cover in there. Also, the Spurs against the Nets, who were in the Tankathon. The Spurs rolled to a 16-point victory, easily covering the double digits. The Hawks over the Wizards here on the show. Wizards, they're in the Tankathon. Hawks won it by 30 to easily cover 10. We even had the Blazers in that group, remember, because the Bulls aren't trying very hard. Hey, maybe that was a little closer. 121-112. The Blazers crushed there yesterday, going against these teams that are out of the postseason. It's even more exaggerated than in years past. We also had the Phoenix Suns over the Lakers yesterday, plus the points here on the show, and we had the under in the Wolves and the Clippers. I'd say that's a pretty good day here on Night Moves with all those winners there. 5 winners out of, I think we previewed 8 games, so 5 and 3. We'll take that. We left a couple of games off the schedule. I don't think we can afford that luxury here tonight. We're going to be looking for some winners with you in the chat. So join me here over the next couple of minutes. We'll preview the games for Friday. We also brought home some nice winners on Night Moves in the National Hockey League last night as well, including the Pittsburgh Penguins. We had them over the Devils there yesterday, 4-1. A real convincing victory there for Pittsburgh. Also here on Night Moves, we had a winner with the Carolina Hurricanes, 5-4 over Tampa Bay. Here also had the Flyers and the Rangers game to go under. That was a winner here on Night Moves yesterday. We also had the Minnesota Wild over Colorado, 5-2 on the road. A good win there for Minnesota. And we had the Oilers over. We had the over with the Oilers and the Kings, but certainly a little bit of concern there with the Kings. Really throwing in a clunker there, 8-1 as Edmonton bombs the Kings in LA. Draisaitl led the Blitz with a goal and 3 assists. The Oilers outshot the Kings 37-21. The Kings have actually lost 5 in a row there with that Thursday loss there in that one. Okay, a little bit of college basketball action here from Friday night. We had a few winners as well here on Night Moves, uh, including Michigan State Wolverines taking the points against Purdue, but Michigan State won it 76-71. Purdue's just 5-5 in their last 10 games after that 17-1 start. A balanced effort. Nobody in the box score had more than 15 points. Michigan State's now in a three-way tie for third place. Northridge and Irvine got this one wrong, but it was still close. Just had the wrong side. It was a 1-point game. I think Irvine won it 68-67. We took Northridge -1. But Irvine got a layup on the out-of-bounds play under the right there at the buzzer to win the game, if you saw it. Crazy there. Irvine led 36-24 at halftime, and the Anteaters won in Northridge for the 11th year in a row. How did I not see that coming? Hawaii got a big road win there in conference play over UC Davis. They're tied with Cal Irvine now atop the standings of the win over Davis. 77-73. Hawaii led by 12 at halftime. They're a good defensive team. Top 15 defense in the country right now for Hawaii. They play a weaker schedule, but the numbers would say they're extremely effective. They're number 11 in effective field goal percentage defensively. Montana State upset Portland State as the Bobcats won for only the third time in their last 8 games. A bit of an upset there. Actually, I think they're actually favored in that game, 84-69 for Montana State. Also, Wichita over Memphis, 88-82. The Shockers have won 4 in a row and 9 of their last 11. Memphis not having a good year. The rust is wearing off there a little bit with the Tigers as Wichita went in and beat Memphis 88-82 on the road in a near pick'em game there yesterday. Also, Kennesaw upset Liberty 74-65. Hey, we had Kennesaw over at Tony's Picks as a premium. Let's go over to Tony's Picks. Take a look at our premium picks. Always our best picks over at Tony's Picks. But that was one of my premium winners. I went 5-3 with my premium picks here. I should have stepped it up a little bit. Really saw the board well today. Had a lot of private winners, and that's okay. Coming on strong here for the weekend. Let's go over to the website, check out the handicapper leaderboards, see who's hot. I know I'm on the list, but there's some other cappers that did pretty well today. Let's take a look at those handicapper leaderboards. David Racy, another good day there, 8-3. Tom Reghard, 6-3 there yesterday. Double Shooty, 4-2. Tony T, 3-1. He's been hot here. Rod Zawacki goes 3-1. I'm up there with a 5-3 day. Hollywood Sam, 3-2. You see Vegas Al there, huge volume day there, 13-11. Mills Young won his only play. The VIP account won its only play. Ron Hahn 1-0 as well. Al Ninos 2-1. Joey Tron 2-1. That'll get it done. Wish I could do it that easily with those guys. For the last 7 days, David Racy's up there, up 10 units. Vegas Al's up 5.5 units. Tony T's up nearly 5 units over the last 7 days. Hollywood Sam up 4 units. Nick Lagaretto's up 3.5 units last 30 days. Nick Lagaretto's up 26.5 units. Stephen Duncan up nearly 20 units there. I'm up nearly 9 3/4 units. Joey Tron up nearly 8 2/3 units. And Vegas Sal's up over 4.5 units over the last 30 days over at Tony's Picks. And for the year so far, Stephen Duncan's up over 41 units. Nick Lagaretto's up over 30 units. Al Ninos up nearly 10 units. I'm up nearly 6 units there over at Tony's Picks. You can click on the All Cappers tab, find the handicapper of your choice. Click on their handicapper profile page, and that's how you get signed up. Check out some of my numbers here. Running a pretty good year so far there in tennis. Oh, man, was I steamed there. I'll show you the Ann Lee lost it for me there. What happened, Ann Lee? She looked like she was going to win there in the second set, and let it slip away. And she had a bad loss there yesterday. It cost me a winner over on the tennis picks. Got some big matches today. We'll see. I might have one premium. We're getting down here to quarterfinals in Chile, in Mexico, in Austin, Texas, and semifinals also for the men in Mexico. But might only have one premium tomorrow as the matches get a little bit thin here. But look, I'm having a good run in the NBA here, 13-8 right now. We did lose our premium play with the Hornets and the Pacers under there. Should have been the Hornets, right? Soccer here, pretty good run as well, 57%, and NHL already on the board there. In the National Hockey League, here come the winners with Lakers and Phoenix, game total over. Just got that one to go over. Waited a little long there to pull the trigger. Wizards and Atlanta, there's our loss. Western Kentucky, minus the points against New Mexico State, was a blowout winner. Red Wings Senators, game total under, premium winner. Elon and Towson had a winner there on the under. Their easy winner, only 114 points. The total was 144. Also had Liberty and Kennesaw, you see it there. And then there's Ann Lee, favorite against San Mez, and she blew it. All right, you can click on the upcoming tab, see all the latest matches coming up here from the crew over at Tony's Picks, and see the games there loaded up with the guys here for Friday. Use the promo code TonyT at checkout to save 15% off those premium pick packages, including mine here on Friday. We're going to get you started, and I'm going to say hello and thank you to the chat pros today. We've got Cal Dog going on here and Andre Wingfield, members of our chat pros here, going to guide me along over the next several minutes here as we preview all these games here for Friday's action. And thanks to the guys for being here. Okay, I guess we got to go here right now and get started with the picks here, the NBA. I don't know what else we could chat about here as far as the sports news cycle is concerned. PGA, Austin Smotherman had 9 birdies. He leads the Palm Beach Classic with a 62. My golfers there were pretty mediocre. I really only had a couple of guys, my top 2 guys, do anything with Keith Mitchell and Neergaard Peterson. Mitchell's tied for 9th. Neergaard Peterson's tied for 35th. But I even have the last place golfer here this week. That's not a thing to be proud of. Okay, here we go. Getting ready here. I did see also the NFL had their grades come out. The NFL, I should say the NFL Players Association had their grades leaked to the media. I think they were, I don't know if they're supposed to keep it quelled or not. I think they do it on purpose, right? Otherwise, why would you even have it? But coaches who received an A+ grade from the Players Association, remember each team kind of votes, but Sean McVay got an A+, and Dan Quinn of Washington got an A+. Kyle Shanahan got an A. Aaron Glenn, 3-14 record, got an A. 9 coaches got A-minuses, including fired head coach Sean McDermott and rookie head coach Kellen Moore. B coaches included John Gannon and Raheem Morris. 4 coaches got B grades, including John Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh got a C+. Fired Raiders coach Pete Carroll got a C+ from the Players Association, and fired Browns coach Kevin Stefanski was the lowest rated coach at C-. No other coaches received any D grades there. Miami was voted the number 1 organization by players, followed by Minnesota and Washington. The Steelers were last. The Bengals got the worst cafeteria once again. In fact, they graded even lower than last. It got even worse in the Bengals cafeteria. They might as well just put in some vending machines. The Chargers were given A grade. Owner Dean Spanos, who I will always criticize, but the players to the players and give him credit. He got an A from the players. Owner Dean Spanos did. Kroenke got a B plus from the Rams here in Las Vegas. Mark Davis did get an A minus grade. The general manager Speed Tech got a B minus, and Pete Carroll got a C plus, the fired head coach of the Raiders. So, okay, I think we got a few folks in here. I think we could proceed. Richie Rich is also joining us there uh, from from Montreal. All right, good to see Rich in there. All right, I guess we got to go. I guess we got to start the show. We got a nice crowd here tonight. Maybe something's working again here. Maybe I'm working again. Let's go to the NBA action here for Friday. Like I said, we won't be here long. We got 5 in the NBA, 4 in the NHL, and I think I picked 5 games here in the colleges tonight. And we'll start this one off with the Cavaliers are on the road taking on the Detroit Pistons. Started over. Cavaliers on the road taking on the Detroit Pistons. Pistons favored here by 6, maybe even 6.5 right now here overnight. Total may also be sneaking up here to 225.5 or so with the Pistons. Seems like the move, though, here is a little bit to the Cavs. This one opened as high as 7. Now we're seeing the 6s here right now. And, yeah, it does feel like this one has tipped up a little bit higher here. Donovan Mitchell is out of this game for the Cleveland Cavaliers with a groin injury. James Harden, he's got a broken thumb, but is only listed as questionable. And also Evan Mobley here questionable as well. So the Cleveland Cavs do have some issues coming into this game. Isaiah Stewart, I still think he's out with that suspension for the Pistons here. So let's see what you think in this one with Cavs going on the road here. And, they're getting some points, and they might be missing some guys here. And it's still a big game, it feels like, here in the Eastern Conference standings here currently. The Cavaliers are 7.5 back. They're battling with the Knicks for the number 3 position. Meanwhile, the Pistons are got to be feeling pretty comfortable there. 5.5 game lead right now, and the Cavs will maybe a little bit shorthanded. Let's see what you got here with these two. Still the Cavaliers 13-16 against the spread on the road, but 7-5 against the spread as an underdog. Detroit just 21-25 against the spread as a favorite. These two teams met back on January 4th, and Detroit won it 114-110 on the road. They were getting 3.5 in that one. The Pistons are 19-26 to the under as a favorite. They're also 13-17 to the under at home. Cleveland 17-12 to the over on the road, but just 5-7 to the under as a dog. Let's see what you have here on a Friday as the Cavaliers take on the Pistons. We'll go to the chat pros here. Cleveland has won 13 of its last 16 overall. They've won 13 of the last 15 meetings against these Detroit Pistons, but Detroit's made a lot of strides here. I don't know if I'm ready to just say it's a dominating season series here. Cleveland is maybe with a little bit of an edge here, but I don't know. The missing personnel kind of has me thinking that it might be an issue. Let's see what you got in the chat pros here. Cleveland definitely is trending over for their last 6 over, including 4 of their last 5 on the road. But the head-to-head trends are definitely under here. 6 of the last 7 meetings between the two teams have gone under here. All right, chat pros are in. Up One Money is here today. Good to see Up One Money. Andre says no Mitchell. Cal Dog liking the Pistons here. Andre says, got to be the Pistons, spread and money line. Shaq's here. He had a solid day, and except for the Matadors. Oh, boy. Detroit money line for Richie Rich, especially if those guys aren't in, he says. Andre's on the under here. And look, still a pretty big number. Cleveland's playing pretty well, but yeah, I just happen to think maybe these injuries might be a little bit of a factor in this one for Cleveland. I guess it's, we always say it's built into the line. Sometimes is it really though? Uh, Built into the line. For example, yesterday, late game came out, or for there was oh gosh, what game was it in the colleges yesterday? It was one of the early games. Oh yeah, I remember. It was the game there with St. Bonaventure yesterday in their matchup. The early start there, and what happened was their top two players ended up as late scratches. That was the write-in game, and their Rhode Island had their top two players out as late scratches. The line really didn't even move. St. Bonaventure went on to win, and St. Bonaventure hasn't been that great this season. Okay, let's see here. A couple more comments from the chat. And it's going to be 6 points too much there. And Bunny says, James playing. I don't know if it's a question mark or a statement. Like I said, I mean, listed as a broken thumb. We know that some broken thumbs are less broken than others, especially if it's your offhand there, I guess. And Andre says the Lakers lost straight up to the Suns as favorites too. And was that built into the line with all those injuries in there? So, look, these are three key injuries. I hope they're all in there. We know Spider's definitely out. I'll take Detroit here in this one on night moves. I know it's 6. I'll try to lay it here on the show. I think I like the total maybe a little bit more, maybe a premium there. All right. Keep it moving right here now on night moves with the Brooklyn Nets are taking on the Boston Celtics. And the Celtics are massive favorites here by 17.5. The total's 208.5. Well, I guess that means what? I can figure this out. 104 plus one. The Celtics are expected to only score 113 points against the Brooklyn Nets. Are they letting the air out of the ball here? Well, I mean, I know the Nets are, these guys are. Here's the thing. I mean, the Celtics are pretty big unders, and so are Brooklyn, but getting a little funky here with 208.5. The Nets going to bring the defense on these guys or something all of a sudden? No, we know the pace is a little bit slower here with these guys, but I have a problem with this. I think I just don't know if I can pull the trigger on such a on this because these guys are such solid unders overall. All right, let's see what we got though. Hey, Brooklyn's in the tankathon. We know that, so we're just supposed to lay it anyways against these tankathon teams here right now. No matter how big the line is, it feels like it shouldn't be a problem. Although Brooklyn has covered 4 of the last 5 meetings against between the two teams, but still the Nets are 0-6 against the spread in their last 6 games. They've all lost them all, of course. Boston's won 9 of their last 11, and they've also covered 4 of their last 5. The one they didn't cover was the last game against Denver. Brooklyn, meanwhile, like we said, not only on a losing streak, but they're 11-18 against the spread on the road. But Boston just 10-17 against the spread at home, 15-27 against the spread as a favorite. They're not a good favorite at all. But again, I think we're picking on these tanko teams. Boston's gone under in 9 of their last 11 on the road. Let me get these numbers straight again. Make sure I got them right. Brooklyn, 12-17 against the spread on the road. Boston, 13-14 against the spread at home. I misspoke there. Boston's actually 33-25 against the spread overall. I knew they were better than that. But Boston under in 8 of their last 9 at home, also 10-17 to the under at home, 15-27 to the under as a favorite. Man, still 208. Oh, man. Boston just had a similar line game, at least with the total, when they played Phoenix. It was 206.5, and the final score was 97-81. Now, that was at Phoenix, and that was Boston that scored the 81 points in that game. They also had a low-scoring total against Golden State recently, which was 211, but that one went 231 at Golden State. Boston's gone under in 12 of their last 14. Brooklyn's gone over in 7 of their last 10. These two teams did meet back in January. It was 130 to 126. Boston won on the road as an 8.5-point favorite. They didn't cover, but 256 points were scored in that game. When they played here in Boston back in November, it was 113 to 105. The Nets won an upset. That's 13.5-point dog. It did go under in that one, but the total was 221.5. And the first meeting of the season at Brooklyn was won by Boston, 113 to 99, as Boston covered 11.5. So let's see what you've got here with Boston and the Nets. We know that Brown's been a little bit dinged, but I think he's good to go here. I think that it's a relatively clean injury report on both sides, actually. Let's go to the chat pros and see what you got. Up one money likes the Brooklyn team total under. There you go. See? Andre says too many points. Take the 17.5. And let's see here. Hello to Old Gapper joining us from Cambridge. I know there was some big elections over there in the UK tonight. I was watching some of the coverage, actually, just to let you know how culturally aware I am out here in the satellite studios. Maybe there wasn't a lot of handicapping going on. All right, let's see here. Lakers on the do not bet list for Andre. Shaq says, how about the Celtics team total over? I think that, yeah, it's funny, right? You might want to go Celtics team total over, Brooklyn team total under, but maybe still avoid the 17.5. Look, I know I don't do that, so I can only pick out of a few options here. That's what I do on the show. In a big-time show like this with dozens of viewers, I just kind of stick to the sides and totals. But I will take Boston in celebration of that. Boston team total over, Brooklyn Nets team total under. Like I said, I'm in on the tankathon this year. I've always been kind of a tankathon denier, but I'm not this year. And I'm taking the Celtics here. It obviously was a big time angle there. Look, they're not all going to come home, but. And Rich said, "Oh yeah, don't forget, right? Nets back to back. They played the Spurs last night at home, 126 to 110. Now they got to turn around and go on the road. Meanwhile, Boston was off. You got it. They're a good one, Richie Rich. Boston by 20 here for up money. All right, Celtics win. Nets cover, says Andre, and up one money says, you know what? You got Boston off a win. That makes all the difference in the world. And Power Critters here, he says, take the Nets plus the points. Yeah, I'm not doing it. All right, I'm on Boston. Let's keep it moving here right now in the NBA with the New York Knicks are on the road taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. This ain't a tankathon game. In fact, the Milwaukee Bucks have turned their fortunes around. Now, they might end up being a little bit short here, but give them a lot of credit right now for what's going on. Look, they're alive. There are 4 games out here. Right now, I'm drawing the line pretty much at the Bucks as far as teams with still with an outside chance. Sure, a couple of the Bulls are behind them. They're still alive, but Bulls have lost 10 in a row. The Bucks, meanwhile, are winning. They're winning. They're winning, and they're winning. So, hats off to this Bucks team and what they've been doing here. Look, they mixed up their lineup a little bit. You heard Vegas Al talking about it earlier and how well this guard play has been here for Milwaukee. It's really been a key since Giannis has gone out, and the Bucks and their moves here a little bit as well, and the overall shakeup. Now it feels like so these guys have done a nice job here with Porter, with Rollins, yes, and even Kuzma, Green, Miles Turner. They're doing a great job right now, and they're getting some good points here from the Knicks. Now the Knicks are nothing special on the road. They're 11-18 against the spread away from home. Meanwhile, Milwaukee's covered 8 of their last 10, and they've won 12. They've won 5 of their last 6, covered 5 of their last 6. The Knicks have gone 12-4. Pardon me, straight up over their last 16 games, but are just 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 overall. So Knicks have gone under in 13 of their last 18. 5 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams have gone over here, but you know about the Milwaukee Bucks in this one for sure. Kind of like as a premium. Maybe I should look to the total here. All right, up one money's on the Knicks though here. And look, the Knicks have been pretty solid here of late. Although they have failed to cover in 4 straight, they did lose obviously to Cleveland there last time out, 109-94 on the road. They did beat the Bulls, they did beat the Rockets, but they did not cover in those games as a favorite on one of them on the road, 3rd straight road game here. Andre's on the Bucks. Knicks money line there for Andre. Also, Andre on the over. Bucks plus the points for Cal Dog. I'll go ahead and take. Oh man, let me see here. I'll go ahead and take the Bucks here in this one. Like I said, I kind of want to use the Bucks as a premium in this game, but I'm not quite sure what I'm doing here with the total yet. I don't think I'm going to get to a premium on the total with these two. Knicks are 13-16 to the under on the road. I think the Knicks are maybe just trending under enough here, but Milwaukee games are trending over, and the head-to-head kind of is on the over as well. I think I'm safer with the Bucks here. I'm going to take them in this one. They've dominated them. Yes, the Knicks have covered 6 of the last 7 here, but just have to like what the Bucks are doing right now. Shaq says it seems tempting. It's a good story because remember, we're going to trade Giannis. Giannis is kind of feeling like, hey, you guys haven't put a good team around me. Okay, maybe I've been injured here. Maybe I'm a prima donna a little bit. Maybe I'm getting old. Maybe I want a chance at one more title. I'm not going to get it here in Milwaukee. I'll sit this one out, make sure I'm fully healthy in case I get traded. I don't get traded. Here comes a bunch of guys trying really hard, and now they're covering pretty much every game here of late, talking about the Milwaukee Bucks. Up one money, though, says they do own them. They do. No doubt about it. Although Knicks won in November, 108-109 as a 7.5-point favorite and got that money. But an early season meeting, Milwaukee won it. Okay, I think that's it for that one. Okay, hey, we wouldn't preview this one if we had a ton of games here with 2 teams in El Tanko mode, but we're a little desperate here on Friday night, if you know what I mean. Can't find a date. We'll just handicap Saturday's card for college basketball. Memphis comes in here with 3 straight losses right now to Miami, Sacramento, and Golden State. I mean, those are not the best set of teams here right now. And so Memphis having some issues. They're also 14-23 against the spread as an underdog. However, they're going up against the Dallas team here. They lost last time out to Sacramento. Now, they did win a couple of games here against Indiana and Brooklyn. Look, they're playing a weak schedule, but they beat some weak teams, and they beat them on the road. So Dallas is having a little bit of life. I don't know what happened last night against Sacramento. I mean, I know what happened, but they were 7.5-point favorites in that game and lost by 9 to the Kings. The Kings kind of came out storming out of the gates and held on. They outscored them, and they scored 42 points in the first quarter. You see, it was 251 points with 2 bad teams here. I think that's where this one's going to be headed, probably once again. I don't know if the Mavericks are going to give up 40 points to the Grizzlies in the first quarter, but I don't know if they're going to play any defense either. Memphis has gone over in 9 of its last 11 games. Dallas has gone over in 6 of 8. Yeah, the series has gone under in 6 of 8 meetings, but I don't know if I'm going to concern myself with that right now, the way the situation sets up for these two teams in this one. See what you have here. They did play a massive under when they played back in November, 102-96 here in Dallas. Memphis got the win. Memphis owns these guys, no doubt about it. 6 straight wins and covers over the Dallas Mavericks. So that might be something to look to here. They haven't beaten them. I don't think they've beaten them since 2024. An early meeting between the two teams there in 2024, mid-season, I think it was. But Dallas just 7-12 against the spread as a favorite. Memphis, like I said, going over. I'm going to go over. I'm not going to mess with the total there. I mean, with the side, but pretty. That is an impressive series history, especially when you got, two teams going nowhere. Memphis is struggling, but Dallas also. Like I said, that one kind of came out of nowhere because they had pretty much won. They won back-to-back games on the road against Indy and Brooklyn. I mean, I get it; those teams are no good, but neither is Dallas. This is just not a great game. So, give me some picks from you guys in the chat here, and let's see. Richie Rich says he's on Memphis here, plus the points. Hello to Tim today. Nice to see Tim in there. Andre's on the Grizzlies here as well. And Andre's got a little prop action with Ty Jerome. I think that 6-0 history might be something to note in this particular. I think just the way this matchup kind of sets up because of the fact that we've got two tankers playing one another. It's easy to broad brush the tanking term, but it's kind of hard to ignore the results. Okay, the last one's a good one with Denver taking on Oklahoma City. And where do these two teams kind of stand? I mean, I know where they stand, but what's the motivation of the teams here right now? Yes, right now the Thunder are battling here right now against the Spurs. The Spurs are coming hot. The Thunder still lead by 2 games. The Nuggets, meanwhile, are tied for third with the Rockets here. They haven't been quite as good. It makes an interesting note here in this game here with the Nuggets and the Thunder. You've got MVP candidate Nikola Jokic here for the Nuggets, right? I mean, he's in, but we know he's missed a lot of time this year, like he always does. I mean, this big man, is not, built necessarily for a regular season. He definitely is built for the postseason. But also Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now he has been upgraded to probable. That's big news. He's been out here for a while. It's great news and it's important news in this game. Obviously, they're favored by 8.5. But more importantly, to me, I think the NBA has struck out here with their rule that you cannot miss 16 games. I think they chose a few too many. Now we want guys to play, more than 65 games or whatever it is, right? I think, what is it, 18 games? Whatever. The 65 game rule is what it's called. You got to play 65 games. Otherwise, you're not eligible for the MVP. Well, get this. Listen, who are the top MVP candidates in the league? SGA, Nikola Jokic, Victor Wembanyama, even Giannis to a certain extent. I mean, he's certainly a MVP candidate going into the season. He's not anymore, but when he's in there, he's one of the. These guys might not even. You might have to pick the 5th best player, 6th best player down the list as the MVP. Maybe it's Ant Edwards. You might have to pick someone who didn't miss a number of games. That seems wrong. Just decide. Why do you need a rule? That's the thing today. We always want to run everything through AI. One thing I do is I run the transcript of this show through AI, and then I get all the consensus picks from the chat. I'm going to make some copy, maybe even put it on the site here. I don't know. Very interesting to see all the picks come up from the chat pros. Anyways, so I'm trying to talk about the Nuggets and the Thunder, but again, just getting off a little bit here with the 65 game rule and how it might not be beneficial. Now, talked about Nikola Jokic, he's in. Jamal Murray, he's questionable, but I think he's going to be ready to go here. Jalen Pickett, questionable for Denver. Oklahoma City has, Chet is probable, SGA is probable, but other guys are kind of out, including uh, Mitchell, questionable. Hartenstein, questionable. Caruso, questionable. Carlson, Chet's backup. I mean, both backup centers questionable in this game. Jalen Williams, the guard, he's out still. Isaiah Joe is probable, but he's got a sore butt. Speaking of, anyways, let's see what you got in this one. I'll make my joke after we finish this prediction segment for the NBA. Denver comes in having lost 4 out of the last 5 games against the Thunder, but they've covered 6 of their last 9. You see them getting 8 points here. Total 231.5. Like I said, the Thunder are missing a lot of parts. Now, there are some situations where Denver might be taking some off here. Like I said, you definitely want to be finishing at least in 4th place right now. Denver just a 1-game lead over Minnesota. And, you still got to know you're an underdog here in this one. Denver comes in here off of a win over Boston, 103-84. They stuffed the Celtics in that one. They've been alternating wins and losses really here of late. Oklahoma City, meanwhile, comes in off of a loss to Detroit. 124-118 is a 10.5-point dog, remember, but they were missing players. They still covered. They've been doing a nice job here covering actually of late, covering 4 straight. Let's go to the chat pros. I might just be on the total here. I mean, these two teams are pretty solid over teams, it feels like, this season and right now. For Denver here, they've gone over in 9 of their last 12. Oklahoma City's gone over in 7 of 9, and 6 of the last 9 meetings have gone over, including the matchup in February 1st. 121-111, OKC won and covered. Total was 225 in that game. Denver's 22-10 to the over on the road. Oklahoma City's more of an under team, but they're kind of under when they're more on the road. Great call, Shaq, right? It'd be Cunningham in there. And look, Cunningham missed time too, right? For a little bit of time there anyway. Cal Dog says take the Thunder, maybe buy it down there a little bit. Shaq says, with the first game back, maybe it will be the Thunder. But again, I think they're missing a lot of other possible guys here. Andre is on OKC. Triple-double for Nico. I think that's is that Jokic there? Yeah, Jokic there. Not Jovic. Let's see here. Ron Jeff, Nuggets plus the points. Hello to Ron Jeff. And take the over. That's what I'll do. I'm going to take the over in this one. I got a couple of overs to wrap up the NBA segment myself. Give me the over in this one with Denver and OKC. I will say the move has been a little bit to the under, though, in that game. That's it for the NBA previews here. Thanks for the help there in the chat pros. And we're going to go next to college basketball for Friday. All right, let's get it moving here right now. We're going to go to the colleges and start off with the early game here in the Ivy League as we're coming down the stretch here in some of these conferences anyway. Let's take a look here at what's going on right now. In the Ivy League, we know Yale is in first place here currently, so we'll talk about them today as far as our Ivy League coverage here. Yale currently 9-2. Coming into this one, Harvard is 8-3. There's still 3 games left in the season here, but it's really come down to Yale and Harvard. Cornell is 5-6. They're in 4th place. Penn is 6-5. But you got Nick Townsend and the Yale here coming into this one. They're going to be a little bit of a slight favorite on the road. Minus 3.5 total, 165 here. Yeah, so these Ivy League games can get a little bit high scoring, especially when you got a team like Yale here. Also Cornell, though, when they're sometimes they can give it up when they're an underdog, that's for sure. Yale's been on a winning streak here coming into this one. They've won 5 straight, but they're just 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 games, mostly as a favorite. Yale is 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games against Cornell, but Cornell just 1-6 against the spread in their last at home this year. 1-6 ATS at home, 2-6 against the spread as an underdog, but they've covered 4 of the last 5 at home against Yale. Ooh, this one's tough. Now look, Cornell is 6-2 to the over as an underdog, but they've gone under in 6 straight games coming in here. And, when Yale is on the road, that's kind of on the conference road. They don't really go into the 160s that frequently, but they have here, I know, a little bit of late. Let me see. They went over against Howard, but look, that was a non-conference game, 87-81 as they went over 147. In fact, usually, like I said, usually Yale on the road is, under this number. It's usually under 160 points, actually, but I know that, Yale, Cornell is a team that can pace it up. They can give it up for sure. They lost to Harvard last time out, 73-54. They lost to Penn, 82-76. Also lost to Penn, 91-81 at home. They've lost 2 straight, bailed in both of them. Yale here, just like I said, they're just not a good cover. They're winning all these games, but they're usually favored by too many points. Here, though, it is a little bit tighter. Like I said, Cornell, though, just not good against the spread at home here. All right, here we go. Cal Dogs on Yale. Hey, hello to Dak Kush King. Join us in the chat. Richie Rich said Cornell busted the parlay last time. Cornell overs are like printing money. Yep. Like I said, 6-2 to the over as an underdog for Cornell. However, they are just 3-4 to the under at home, and they've gone under in 6 straight games. I'm going to have to go here under in this one with Yale and Cornell. All right. Next up, let's go to the MAC. The first game in the MAC, we're going to look at them both here because we're definitely into some exciting times here with Miami of Ohio. What a great run here for Miami of Ohio. Of course, they come in with a 28-game winning streak this season. They've won them all. And here they are, double-digit favorites on the road. Win with a bubble burst here. Look, not only do they win, they cover pretty much most of the time as well. I mean, they're on a cover streak right now. Are the Red Hawks. They've covered 5 straight. They've won all their games, obviously. But Miami of Ohio just 1-4 against the spread. Their last 5 against the Broncos. Miami of Ohio has gone under in 6 of its last 7. They're mostly an over team this season. In fact, 15-6 to the over as a favorite. Western Michigan's 14-8 to the over as an underdog here. And these two teams, 14 of the last 20 meetings between these two teams have gone under here. But, man, these two teams this year have just been hardcore overs. I don't know if I can buy into the series history, especially because, Miami of Ohio is so much head and shoulders above what they've been in the past, obviously, here with this great run. Miami of Ohio is 19-6 against the spread this season, 10-2 against the spread On the road, Western Michigan just 2-6 against the spread in their last 8, 3-9 straight up in their last 12. It's just you're paying a pretty big tax here. I mean, even my numbers, I try to be modest with my uh, assignment of the numbers. Even I've got this one closer to probably 11 points, but let's see what you have in this one with Western Michigan here taking on Miami of Ohio. Western Michigan comes in and off a win over Bowling Green, 88-79 on the road. They were 11.5-point dogs, but did lose a couple before that to Central and to Akron. All right, we'll get your plays here in the chat. Let me know what you got with Miami of Ohio on the road. Is this the one? Is this the one with Western Michigan? Hey, Western Michigan did beat Miami of Ohio last year at home, 78-70, about 54 weeks ago, I'd say. Miami of Ohio did come back to win at home here this year, 87-76. They didn't cover that one. They were favored by 14.5 at home and didn't cover. Okay, here's Cal Dog on the over. Up one money, says don't get in front of this Miami team right now. Yeah. Look, it is a high total here, but I might have to still sneak this one over here. Yeah, let me go. I'm going to go over in this one with Miami of Ohio and Western Michigan. Give me the over. All right, we'll go to the Friday night Big Ten game here with Michigan taking on Illinois, and that's a good one. That's a good one. Top 10 teams here. Michigan ranked third. They're 26-2 coming into this one. They do have a loss here this last week, remember, but it was that non-conference game to Duke. So I'm not saying throw it out, okay? Not at all. Yes, was it two of the top 5 teams in the country? Of course it was. And did Duke win? Was it a neutral floor? I don't know. Duke felt like the home team in that one. Still, it resembled kind of a tournament matchup. You really don't get these non-conference games that late in the season. They did bounce back to beat Minnesota by 10, but they were laying 22 points at home there in that one. Illinois, meanwhile, comes in off that loss at UCLA. Actually been losing a couple games here, this Illinois team. And man, these two teams, can you believe these two teams? I mean, they're kind of under teams, believe it or not. Illinois with this great offense, 6-10 to the under at home. Michigan, 11-15 to the under as a favorite. For the Wolverines here coming into this one, they've won 12 of their last 13, but are just 5-10 against the spread in their last 15. Illinois is 13-7 against the spread in their last 20 games. They've won 14 of their last 17 at all, 14 of their last 17 overall. Michigan's just 1-8 against the spread in their last 9 games against the Fighting Illini. Now, look, it's only 1.5. Maybe that's enough for you here. But again, not only does Illinois cover the spread, they just beat Michigan every time right now for the last 4 years. Basically, Michigan has not defeated Illinois in several years right now. Last year, Illinois won it at Michigan, 93-63. The year before that, they won at home. Did Illinois 97-68. These are blowouts. Also beat them on the road in 2024, 88-73. This has been Illinois dominated. But does Michigan know that? Do they put we got to get this one to prove ourselves here? Or is it just Illinois' style a little bit too much for Michigan in the past? Basically, just a pick 'em here. All right, let's take a look. Up one money's like in Michigan, but Richie Rich says Illinois is Up one money says Michigan 9-0 in true road games. Well, yeah, they've won a lot of games though. Illinois in the points here for Andre. Cal Dogs on Michigan. Up one money says, what about an under? Yeah, you think right with these two teams. It's just that Illinois wins every game, right? They've also gone over in 5 straight games with Michigan. And look, Illinois's got a solid offense. It seems like their totals are just too high in the end, right? But look, I mean, you got, you know, Michigan top 10 in scoring, Illinois probably top 25 in scoring. Michigan first half for Cal Dog. And Illinois, they are good at the free throw line as well. All right, give me the Illini in the upset here. I'm taking Illinois to win this one. I think that's key. I mean, look, yes, is Michigan much better than all those teams of the best? Yeah, probably. I don't know if they're much better. Michigan's been great. Michigan's been strong. I know this team's special. Don't get me wrong. But I'm going to go ahead and take Illinois here in this one, with that heads up. And also, don't forget, Illinois here kind of clicking at about, a little close to 65% in the last 20 games overall. All right, let's go to the exciting action here in the Sun Belt. Look, I didn't want to preview every Sun Belt game. Guess we could have. When you're coming down the wire, you're down to the last game of the season here, right? And you got 7 teams within 1 game of first place. Now, that is something Pete Rozelle could get behind. Still, I don't know that. I don't know if that tells us who's going to win. Again, okay. So, Appalachian State's 11-6. Texas State is 10-7. They're 1 game behind. However, Troy is 11-6. Marshall is 11-6. South Alabama is 11-6. 4 teams are 11-6. Arkansas State's 10-7. Coastal Carolina is 10-7. 3 teams are 10-7. There are 7 teams within 1 game. Is that how you say it? Of first place? I'm a sports expert. But there's only 1 game left. Only 1 game left. So the 11-6ers, look, they're not all going to lose. They could all lose here. They're not playing each other at all. So it is possible that they all could lose, and then maybe a team like Texas State can finish tied for the title. But it's really going to be between those 11-6 teams. Which ones will win? By the way, Troy is hosting Monroe. Monroe is 1-16. So I think we can say Troy, they're a huge favorite in that game, 19-point favorites. Or as I wrote it down here on my sheet, 119-point favorites. Let me make sure I got that right. Is it 11 or 19? I'm sure. Yeah, 19-point favorites in that game. As far as Marshall is concerned against Georgia Southern, Marshall, they're in a little bit tougher predicament there, I think, against Georgia Southern anyway, as Marshall is 7-point favorites. And as far as South Alabama is concerned, they're 5.5-point favorites against Southern Miss. So, hey, they all could win. They all could finish 12-6. They're all favored. I know that, but this, except for this one. That's why I picked this one. We got to pick them here between Appalachian State and Texas State. Appalachian State's 19-11 overall. Texas State is 18-12. Texas State's been a little bit of the hotter team here, although they are coming in off of a loss to Louisiana, 67-54 on the road. They were actually favored by 3.5, and it snapped a winning streak. Appalachian State, meanwhile, comes in off of a win over Georgia Southern at home, 89-74. But before that, they lost to Marshall in a key game. This has been a wild Goose Chase. Appalachian State's 17-11 against the spread. They're 9-5 against the spread on the road, but Texas State is 9-5 against the spread at home. Appalachian State's 11-17 to the under. Appalachian State also 5-9 to the under on the road, and Texas State is 6-8 to the under at home. So let's see what you think here. This key game in the Sun Belt. We'll know the regular season champ. It's going to be shared by at least two of the teams, I'm sure, if not 3 or 4. Appalachian State's won 8 of its last 10. They've gone 13-7 ATS in their last 20. Texas State's won 7 of 8 and covered 6 of those. 4 of the last 6 meetings between the two teams have gone over, but both teams have gone under in 6 of their last 9 games overall. All right, I'm ready to go. I think I need to chat here in this one. Texas State at home. These games are usually a little bit higher than 135 anyway, but they're still just 6-8 to the under at home. Let's go to the chat. Andre says, take the home team. Up 1 money likes Troy to rock them here by 46 points. What? And Up 1 money says, I'm in Texas. Okay, so we're going with we're going with the Bobcats. Cal Dog says App State. Andre will lay 119 with Troy. And Richie Rich is like an App State in the game here. Says because of the guys checking out of the portal there. Okay, let's see here. Up 1 money likes the under, and Up 1 money liking the under in the north. In North Texas, is that right? Okay. Hope I got it right there. All right. Look, I'm going to go over in this one with Appalachian State and Texas State. Give me the over here with these two. It's a pick 'em here. Give me the over. Just got to pick a winner, Ramon. You can't even do that? All right. I'll take the over with App State and Texas State. Let's go. We're going to go one more. We're going to go back to the MAC here real quick with just Akron over, Akron, poor Akron, right? I mean, these guys have been overlooked. We know they're only somehow, some way, Akron here, just a game behind in the MAC here of mighty Miami of Ohio. How have they done it? But they're 14-1, 23-5 overall. Look, they've got Tavari Johnson. They've got the best player in the conference. Miami of Ohio, Suter is a good player, but it feels like they're kind of more of a cohesive unit. Johnson more leads as Johnson goes. So does it. Well, Akron, look, these guys are great too. Both teams coming here on a 4-game winning streak. Akron with wins over UMass, Western Michigan, Ball, and Buffalo. However, they've actually failed to cover in 3 of those 4 victories. Meanwhile, for Kent, they come in here with 4 straight wins. They didn't cover in 3 of those 4 games as well. Wins over EMU, Ball, Bowling Green, and Central Michigan. Kent State's really been kind of crummy ATS. 10-16 against the spread overall. And just 1-2 against the spread as an underdog. Only the 3rd time this season Kent's been an underdog. Don't sleep on Kent. They are 12-3. This reason why we're looking at this game is we got the 2nd and 3rd place teams going here. But the day we preview Akron, we got Del Recco, Gillespie, and Kent State ready to pull off the upset. Maybe. Akron's a top 10 scoring team in the country here, but when these two teams meet, man, this has been a long-term under when Akron and Kent get together. 7 straight meetings have finished below 156 points, not just 165. But they do trend over here a little bit, especially Kent. They're 11-3 to the over at home. However, right now they've been trending under. So, and Akron's 2-9 to the under on the road. So you got the contrast, and the series history obviously is under City. Two teams met back in January. It was 69-52 in favor of the Zips. The Zips do kind of own them, kind of own the series here. Let's go to the chat pros here in this one with our final game of the segment. Akron's won 6 straight and covered 5 of the last 6 meetings between the two teams. Right, here we go. Over for Andre. Cal Dog says he's got it as a revenge game for Akron here. No. Akron won. Akron won that game, right? 60. Akron's won. I've got Akron winning 6 straight in this series. Am I missing the one? Here's Cal Dog, Akron money line. He likes the under as well. I like the under. I'm just going to take the under here. I'm going to have to go back and check now because my notes say Akron's won 6 straight here. Let's see. In 26, it was 69-52. In last year, 77-52 and 85-71 in 2 meetings. In 24, also 2 meetings. Oh, okay. Oh, you're right. Okay, gotcha. All right, that's it for the colleges. I'll still take the under. I committed to the under there. That's okay. Hey, that's it for the colleges there. Let's go to the National Hockey League on Friday night. We've got 4 games here as we gear up for a huge card on Saturday. And let's start it off in the NHL with my Golden Knights on the road here, taking on the Caps. Hey, I'll tell you what. You find me an NHL card anywhere this year where all the games on the card, I know we got 4 games, but every game is $1.40 or less. No $2 favorites here. All right, for the Golden Knights here, 28, 16, and 14. Washington comes in 30, 23, and 7. Golden Knights coming here off of a win to open up the stretch drive over the Kings. They beat them up, man, 6-4. They were scoring left and right. Kings got a few in there, but it didn't feel like the Kings were ever in the game. For Washington here, they come in off of a 3-1 win at home against the Flyers last time out. These two teams met back in November. It was 5-2. Washington got the win there at VGK in their other matchup here this season. Let's see what you like in this one with Vegas here on the road. They've actually won 6 of the last 9 meetings between the two teams. Vegas just 2-8, however, last 8 years in Washington. Washington's won 4 of their last 5 at home and 5 of their last 6 overall. Washington's gone under in 4 of their last 5, but Vegas has gone over in 5 of their last 6 on the road and 7 of their last 10 overall. Vegas is 6-2 to the over as an underdog. However, Washington 17 and 23 as a dog coming in. Let me hear from you in the chat with Vegas taking on Washington here on Friday night. I got to make my call here in this one, but I'm going to go to the chat pros real quick and see what we got. Andre says Caps and under here. Cal Dog likes Vegas. Dat Kush King is liking the Capitals here in this one. All right. I'm going to take the under in this one. With if it's we got is it Hill and Thompson? I'm going to go under here with these two. I know Vegas is kind of an over team here, but I'm going to go under as my play. Next up, the Buffalo Sabres on the road against Florida. Oh, wow, this is a good game here in Sunrise. I mean, take a look at the standings in the Atlantic. You got Buffalo in second place. What a run it's been. I know Tampa Bay is awesome. They're in first place, but Florida's in last place. It doesn't feel like they're done. I mean, they've got to go on a massive tear here. That's just how good the Atlantic Division has been. They're 30, 25, and 3, and nowhere to be seen in the standings here. They're on 61 points. They're going to have to, I don't know, basically, win here, I would guess, close to 20 games. Florida does come in here off of a win, 5-1 over Toronto last night at home. Buffalo, meanwhile, they are off. Well, we're off, but they are coming in off of a win, 2-1 at New Jersey, heading down here. Buffalo, 16-11 on the road. Terrific road team. 17-13 as an underdog. Florida just 18-23 as a favorite. They have not been a good favorite actually this season. Florida comes in here having lost 8 of their last 12 at home, 5 of their last 7 overall. They're trying to get healthy and try to make these playoffs. They've even said Barkov is closing in on a possible early return, but do you really want to activate him here? If you're not going to really make it to the postseason. Maybe they're seeing how close they can get if they can make any kind of run. They've obviously played a little bit better here, but before the break, they actually had a pretty bad run, losing to Winnipeg, Buffalo, and Tampa Bay kind of down the stretch there. But this Buffalo team has just been unreal. These two teams met back on February 2nd. Buffalo won it here in Florida, 6-3. Florida won in Buffalo back in January, 4-3. So does Buffalo keep it going here, or can the Panthers? Look, you got to start winning some of these sometime. 9 of the last 13 meetings between these two teams have gone under, but Florida 24-17 to the over as a favorite. Buffalo 13-17 to the under as a dog, although Buffalo's gone over in 12 of their last 18, and Florida's gone over in 7 of their last 9. But I have a feeling this one's got to be close to the best here, I would think. I know Tarasov's in there, and Luukkonen doesn't have a closed parentheses there, so it was Sabres Luukkonen. There we go. All right, I'm going to try the under in this one at 6.5. Give me the under here with Buffalo and Florida. All right, let's see here. Nothing from there's Andre. Well, there we go. Sabres and under. Okay. Everybody's on the Sabres. Yeah, you know what? I'm taking the under because I knew you guys would be on the Sabres. So. Okay. All right, let's go to the next one here. Another decent game. These are all pretty good games. I mean, looking at the odds and looking at the postseason picture here a little bit with these teams. Of course, with Minnesota right now, 3rd place in the Central. Utah's in 4th. They feel pretty comfortable up in there. Minnesota's on a winning streak right now. They've been playing great. They won yesterday. Hey, we were on them in the game there against Colorado. We took them yesterday. Minnesota's on a roll right now. They're also 18-8 on the road. 15-19 as an underdog are the Wild. They've won, I think, 6 straight here right now, although they've lost 4 of the last 5 in this head-to-head matchup. Utah comes in here having won 11 of its last 16 and 6 of its last 8 at home, although they lost to Colorado out of the break 4-2. They're still 17-9 at home, 23-14 as a favorite. Minnesota State 19-10 to the over on the road. Utah's 16-12 to the over at home. Minnesota's gone over in 13 of their last 14 games, including 6 straight on the road. 4 of the last 5 meetings between these two teams have gone over, and we're only dealing with this 5.5 now. Let me see. There's got to be some 6s out there. In fact, the 6s are out there. Let's be fair about it. I mean, this feels like an over series for sure. I'll call it 6 under 15, but these two teams met back once this season. It was 6-3, 6-2. The Mammoth got the win in Minnesota. Let's see what the chat pros have in this one with the Mammoth here hosting the Wild. Boy. And we got Cal Dogs on the Wild and the over. Andre, those got the Mammoth and the over. Okay. I'll take the over. I'll go with the chat pros here. Give me the over. Oh, man, I've got 3 totals. I better pick a side in this last one. Let's see. What do we got? Presidential Medal of Freedom winner Connor Hellebuck and the Winnipeg Jets are going to take on, for another Olympian here, Luke Dostal of the Ducks in this one. Look, well, I guess I could just pick the over, right, and not be wrong, but we picked too many totals already. 3 totals out of the games. I got to pick the side here in this one, but, come on. We just saw the Ducks with that crazy over game there against Edmonton. They're 14-4 to the over as a favorite, 18-9 to the over at home, and Winnipeg 15-7 to the over as an underdog. I guess I could just take the over, but I'm going to take the side in this one probably. Let's see what you have in this one. I'll go over the numbers here a little bit. Anaheim's won 6 straight at home, 10 of their last 12 overall. They beat Edmonton in that game 6-5. In that Wild game, Winnipeg, meanwhile, did beat Vancouver 3-2 on the road. I got goofy, tried to take Vancouver in a game, but even Winnipeg could beat them. Looks like a low line. I mean, look, Connor Hellebuck, hey, he's going to be, has his name etched in hockey infamy. I have a feeling he's going to get lit up in this game. I mean, come on, how can you come off such a high and be ready for this game, no matter how long it's been now? Obviously, several days here, but Winnipeg is just 5-17 straight up as an underdog this season. I've got to go with the Ducks here. Give me the Ducks. They're going to blow out Winnipeg. Sorry, Connor. Hey, shout out Commerce, Michigan. I want to say hello to Ron Hahn in the chat. Hi, Ron. Nice to see you. All right. Shaq likes the Ducks here. Andre says he's going under in this game with Dostal and Hellebuck. These two guys probably hook up in some good games. It's been a long time, right, Ron? Andre is on the Ducks. Ducks and over there for Andre. And let's see, Cal Dog on the Ducks as well. I'll take the Ducks. We took all those totals, so let me take the Ducks here in this one and wrap up the show. All right, I guess that's it for Night Moves. I want to thank everyone here for joining me along the Tony's Picks YouTube channel. We'll be back tomorrow with more Night Moves. We'll talk a lot of college basketball tomorrow for sure. It's going to be a huge Saturday. We're just 18 days away from Selection Sunday. Is that right? Let me see. 18, 17? Yeah. Basically 2 weeks and a few days. I know that. from Selection Sunday. We get the conference tournaments getting rolling here next week on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so forth. So it's going to be a great week of college basketball. Head on over to Tony'sPicks.com. Use the promo code TonyT at checkout. Save 15% off the premium pick packages. Check out the leaderboards and see who is hot. We've got myself up there right now along the leaders here over the last 30 days. I'm up nearly 9 3/4 units. So check me out over at Tony'sPicks.com. You know, it's Friday, so that's a great time to pick up the 3-day all sports pass for $99 here. Get plenty of plays for me. Look, I had 8 plays there today, went 5 3. We had a winning day yesterday. I think we were 4 3. Day before that, had a good winning day. It's been a good week, been a good month. And you always get a good value when you take the 3-day all sports premium pass for $99. Look, these are my boutique high roller plays. There's no doubt about it. When you're paying $99, even though I give a good high volume for our site here at Tony's Picks, these are the games that you want to step up your unit size. You want to make sure these are your best plays. And look, you see me on some other channels, you see me on some other shows, but know that this package right here, this is the elite gold package, if you will. You want my strongest plays. These are them. Sometimes I go overnight. Sometimes I'm closer to game time. Well, usually within a couple of hours of game time anyway. Rarely do I come in with a little steam, but boy, we should have yesterday on that Bonaventure game, I'll tell you that. But check me out right now over at Tony'sPicks.com and use the promo code TonyT for those daytime packages. This package already discounted huge for the number of plays you're going to get over the next 3 days. Probably going to have upwards of 5 plays tomorrow. I would say probably, also with college baseball now, actually might go 7 plays because probably roll a college baseball package here. I've only had a couple of plays so far, but this is the first week we've had the college baseball on the site. The season's into the second week here right now, and hey, it's Friday, so we're going to have Friday night starters here to go with this card. So this feels like a college baseball day to me here on Friday. So check me out over at Tony'sPicks.com. Use promo code TonyT at checkout to save 15%. That's going to do it here for Night Moves. I want to thank the chat pros from joining me here today. Ron Hahn says Commerce, home of Connor Hellebuck, right, Ron? They're probably going to put him out. Probably will say, welcome to Commerce, home of Connor Hellebuck. And I've heard they've actually changed it to Connors, Michigan. Andre, thank you. Andrew K as well. Cal Dog, thank you. Shaq, thank you. That's going to do it. All right, we're back tomorrow with more Night Moves here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel. Make sure you join Tony and the panel tomorrow morning for the Tony's Picks morning show, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. Then Rod's got you covered with the happy hour, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 Pacific, and Vegas Al joined you at midnight Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, and more videos from the team here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel. For Tony'sPicks.com, I'm Ramon Scott. So long from Night Moves.